The FamilySearch Library in Salt Lake City is the destination for genealogists when they go to RootsTech or visit Salt Lake City in general. In this interview with Lynn Turner, director of the FamilySearch Library, you'll learn the library's plans over the next 2 years, their major additions and renovations, and also how to use the library remotely if you don't live in Salt Lake City. Enjoy this interview.
Hi, welcome. Go ahead, fire away. Whatever questions you have.
You want to go first?
Sure,
Okay.
go first. So if you, I spent whatever days this week in the library, and that 5 years ago, it looked totally different. What's it going to look 5 years? What's the library going to be like 5 years from now?
A lot different than it looks like today.
Specifically?
I won't go into all the specifics, but I will give you a general background of why we're making the changes that we're making. If you were there Monday or Tuesday of this week, there are some big gaping holes in a couple of the floors. And that was by design. We didn't want to start construction before RootsTech. Kind of don't want a bunch of eyesores, but with the temple open house happening in 2027, we have a bicentennial celebration of our faith, of our church in 2030, and we have the Winter Olympics in 2034. So I know that expands a little bit further than the 5-year question that you asked me, but we are anticipating a 5x increase in our visitors from last year in 2027. We also have statistics that show that about 50% of our visitors do not leave the main floor. So they're youth, they're families. I know all of you just despise the main floor. You don't despise it. But you go straight to the third floor, you go get books, or you go downstairs to access different records, and I love it. But a lot of people come in not sure what the library is, what the library has to offer, what they can do in the library. And in 2027, we'll also have a lot of families coming for the temple celebration, temple open house. And so we need to make more space for them. If you were there yesterday, we reached capacity. We had about 1,700 people in the library yesterday, and we ran out of computer stations for people to sit in. So, and mainly because we have some big holes where we don't have computer stations because we're waiting for construction to start. But if we're going to have 5x the people coming in 2027 as we did last year, then we need to expand the main floor. So we're going to have to move different services. You've seen the classroom, computer lab. We have office spaces that are on the main floor that we're going to have to move to different spaces so that we can expand the main floor. So it will change. We also have the Smith Entertainment Group, which are the principal owners of the Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club that are investing heavily in the downtown area just west of us. And so we'll see an increased foot traffic from different events happening downtown as well. So a lot's going to change. And that's just physical. You look at the different experiences that are coming out with AI today. I can't imagine the possibilities that we're going to be able to have with the different interactive experiences in the next couple of years.
I mean, my impression is you guys do really focus a lot more than a lot of other libraries on user experience. And I have to tell you, for me, it's been successful. That I just find it so easy to do research and pleasurable and stuff. So how is that going to be user experience going to go along with the expansions that you're talking about?
I really appreciate you calling that out. We work really hard. We do constant training. We're monthly training classes on quality customer service. And it is something that we have emphasized a ton over the last few years, and we'll continue to emphasize it. But we'll also, with these increased crowds, you have to increase our capacity to help. And so we have a personnel plan that's in the works. We're going to have to increase the number of employees that we have, increase the number of volunteers. We're going to have to increase the number of languages and countries that we can cover so that we can give everybody that experience that you've been having in the library.
So the folks from Storied were just here and encouraging people to print their family history in a book. So being a big lover of books myself and the books on your shelves, how open is the library to accepting more family history books? How do we get our books there? Are you looking for a select few, or is it
So, thank you for the question. The collection is always, it's the number one question we get from genealogists, especially.
okay?
And it's a really hard one to answer
Okay.
because for some areas of the world, in some countries, we're very saturated. For example, we have public libraries that are here in the U.S. that are closing their local history and family history sections because they're downsizing or shifting with the funding that they have and the priorities that they have, and they will donate their collections to us. And I'm not talking 200-300 books. I'm talking 10, 20, 50, 60,000 books at a time.
Yikes.
What we're finding is that we already have of local history and family histories here in the U.S. We already have 90% of them. But what it does allow us to do is take a second or third copy that we have and cut the binding of that duplicate copy so we can scan them faster. And with the whole intention to make the records more accessible to users, but also to take advantage of technology. We are experimenting right now in building with different companies of how to build trees, take the facts out of books and build trees out of that data so that people can use it on FamilySearch and online in general. Some people ask me, well, what is that, with copyright law, how does that work? And the best way to explain it is you can copyright the cookbook, but you don't copyright the recipe.
Right.
Everybody uses it. Everybody still makes those chocolate chip cookies.
Right.
And so those names and those facts are surrounding that person is freely accessible to use. And so we're not trying to damage anybody in the publishing business or anything like that, but we recognize that the accessibility of the records is huge and it's what everybody wants. Not everyone's going to be able to come to the library. Not everyone's going to be able to come to RootsTech and have access to the physical books as much as we would like them to come. And so how can we make those more accessible online is key.
Okay.
So our collection today is about, it's really hard to say, but you would think libraries know and archives know exactly what they have. We have a pretty good idea, but it kind of fluctuates. But we have about 600,000 books and serials and periodicals, and we have another 200,000 in storage that we haven't even processed yet.
Okay.
Donations. And so we'll have a real focus on processing those and accelerating the accessibility of those books as well.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
That was a long response. Sorry, I talk a lot.
That's okay. We're loving it. Yeah.
You have a Bachelor's of Arts degree in genealogy and emphasis in Latin America. I'm just wondering how you've seen FamilySearch. I know over there in the booths they have all of these different booths from different countries. How have you seen personally FamilySearch connect different cultures to help preserve records and how that's affected people?
Oh my goodness.
Especially in the Family History Library, where people from all over the world are coming to see the conference center and the temple, and you have people passing by the library and they're getting all these different experiences about their ancestors.
Yeah. So thank you for reminding me how long ago I was in college. 21 years. I'm old enough to drink, I guess, now, but the world of family history and genealogy has shifted tons. And where we saw a huge engagement from North Americans and Europeans, we're now seeing it in Africans, Latin Americans, and others as we continue to grow. About 20% of all visitors at Temple Square visit the library. And I'll guarantee you 99% of them never intended to come to the library. And it's really fun to see people come into a library. I'm thinking of two young friends that came into the library not too long ago. They were Chilean. And they came in, they were surprised, first of all, that I spoke Spanish. I happened to be walking by the entrance of the library, and so I greeted them in Spanish. I heard them speaking Spanish. And then, so after they got over that initial shock, they said, "You probably don't have anything for us." So let's go find out. And they spent the next 3 hours in the library. And the cool thing was they both had their phones out. and they were on WhatsApp texting mom and grandma, hey, when were you born? When was grandpa born? When was this? When was that? And they're building out their tree, and then all the record hints start coming in, and now it becomes real to them. They see the records in front of them, and it becomes really exciting. The cool thing is now with the technology that we have, the record collection that we have, most people around the world are having that experience, and it's really fun to see.
Do you specifically have any new features coming out, um, like AI related, or just new features as you're talking about expanding the floor physically, coming to obviously engage youth, but just engage families or just people in general?
Yes. Do
Awesome.
you want me to expand on that?
Yes.
Um, your first part of your question that made me think of a Facebook post that I posted yesterday. I don't do a lot of social media, but I posted a picture of the line of people waiting outside the library, and my wife responded and commented that she goes, "Is there a new ride in the library? Why are people lined up?" And the joke in our family is that I work at a boring place, but in reality, it's not. It's anything. If it's anything, it's not, definitely not boring. Um, and people are having that type of experience that you just explained over and over and over again, which is really cool. Some of the new things, and again, I'll be pretty general because we're still developing things. We don't really know how it's all going to pan out, but it will get there. The biggest barrier right now to most people is most people that are new to Family Search is creating an account. So what I would like the experience to be on the main floor is you come in and we ask you a couple of questions, and based on your answers to those questions, we will use AI to ask additional questions. And by the time you're done with your experience on the main floor, you will have all the information you need to create an account and also to really jumpstart your family history. Maybe you've tied into 4 or 5, 6, 7 generations. Maybe you still have 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the case may be. But you're actually creating an account and you're having a family history experience, and you don't even really recognize it as a family history experience. You recognize it as an experience that is fun and it's engaging and it's about you and it's hyper personalized to you. And so that's where we're headed overall. The very first question we train to always ask is, what do you want to learn today? What brought you to the library? What would you like to learn about? And sometimes people can't answer that question, so we help them and educate them on what they can do in the library. But that's the first thing is in our quality customer service training is we're not there to tell them about our family history. We're here to help them discover their family history, their story. And also they may want to come in and find out if a particular ancestor served in the military. So let's not give them everything else that has nothing to do with military service, but let's get to the heart of what they want to learn. And as they do that, their additional questions will come up, and that is an opportunity to then direct them or help them answer some of those further questions. So to answer your question is a little bit hard because it's and librarians will call it a reference interview. We really got to nail down what they're here for, what they would like to learn, because your reason to come into the library may be completely different than hers. And we want to make sure that we are successful in helping you answer your question just as much as we're successful in helping her. And so getting to that right, and sometimes for everything that they do give us, we ask them 4 or 5 additional questions, which can be kind of annoying, but that allows us to get right to the heart of what they're trying to do. Did that answer your question? Phew.
I have a double question. One, does the library have a program where there's beta testers for new things that you're rolling out?
We see new things rolling out about the same time you do.
Okay. So you don't have, and then,
Which is very painful sometimes, just so you know.
oh, okay. And my other question is about long distance accessibility. I mean, I know you guys are bound by the agreements with things that were
Mhm.
first scanned. I don't know how long those agreements last, or if when you get collections, those have a different agreement. So, I mean, what is the outlook for increasing the amount of accessibility for non-LDS out of state
So,
patrons?
if my video reaches anyone out there looking right into the camera, looking to start a genealogy business, my number one thing that I tell them is do lookups from the library and provide that service to the genealogical community, and you'll make a lot of money. And here's why. This is why I explain it that way. So when we got into COVID, we wanted to continue to help people. We launched online consultations at that time, and they've been very successful. And they've been very hard to continue, by the way, after reopening and extending our hours. So that's a challenge. Secondly, the second thing that we did, we opened up, but we opened up by reservation only. And during that time, we provided lookups for people that were still homebound or still had state laws or regulations about distancing and being out in public. People got really mad at us when we discontinued that, but it was not sustainable by us. And so going back to the first comment that I made, we were doing over 50,000 lookups a year.
Ooh.
And so again, if you're looking to get into the genealogy business, maybe you don't want to provide the same services as everybody else, but if you could advertise yourself as a lookup service, someone will pay you $20 or $15 to go run to the library and look up a few records. And it would be a great service to others, provide access to those that don't have the access.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I didn't answer your question, but we're doing the very best that we can. But with all the things that I mentioned with the very first question that you or another individual asked, all the things coming up right here is really going to suck our attention to being here physically. And so extending out and providing those distance services is going to be tough for us. We'll do our best, but it's going to be tough.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Lynn Turner, the director of the FamilySearch Library in Salt Lake City, and I will catch you in the next video.